What drew me to The Crow was a conversation with Rupert Sanders. It was before I read the script, and I was auditioning for it, and we had like a great conversation about what his vision for it was, and how his interpretation, like how he wanted to kind of reimagine the story. And we talked a lot about Eric and yeah, and then we had like maybe a week's process where we would just like send stuff to each other, and it was kind of this like dating phase of seeing like how we would collaborate together, and I got a very strong sense of this Eric that he wanted to tell or portray, or I wanted to kind of build out. So that was kind of the seed for me.
A similar story, actually. I met with Rupert and we had a tea, and I didn't have a script, actually. I signed on to the film before a script. But he said to me that my job in the film would be to create a character that is so warm and so lovable that when Shelly dies, it just feels like there's a huge hole in the movie. And I thought that was a really incredible challenge. And I know that The Crow has such a cultural legacy. Anyway, you know, that's always going to draw me into a project.
His journey throughout it, his sort of transformation that he goes through as this kind of fragile soul in the beginning of it, and how he kind of meets Shelly and projects all of his hopes and dreams for life again onto her, and then when he loses her, he has absolutely nothing left, and that kind of transition from hope, and then from basically sacrifice and resignation and just hate towards the end.
I think that I've always had a great hope and love, you know, a great wish to find something that's so magical and so beautiful that it can last forever. So in that way, I think it was really amazing to be able to play a role of somebody that meets that and finds a lover who literally wants to go through the depths of hell for love and for the relationship. So in that way, it was just really beautiful to be able to be in love on screen and to explore what that means to meet someone and all of those amazing early days.
Did we?
I felt like we just got along straight away. Like it was very, well, for me anyway, it was very instant.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the first time we met was like we were doing a read through.
Yeah, I came
sort of.
to yeah,
you
I came to your room, yeah, and we did a little read through.
Right, but I think it was like at the studio, and we were like, and it was like
the Polaroids.
Well, the Polaroids as well.
Yeah.
But I remember that time of just like meeting you, and then like we were going into this kind of script session. And,
I can't remember that.
Oh. And I was just like, oh, here's, you know, just going like 100 miles an hour, just trying to like figure out what we were doing.
I can't
remember that.
No. No, my first memory is that I went to your hotel and then we sat outside on the balcony and we went through the script.
Oh yeah, but I think that was after the session.
But then I also have a memory that
you're like, all right, we need to talk as well.
I can't remember. Oh no, was Rupert there when we first
it was Rupert and the writer as well, I think.
I have a bad memory.
Got to know each other very quickly because of it. I mean, we were there, and there was like so much that I think that we needed to figure out their dynamic, and like how are we going to be able to in such a short amount of time tell this love story that never gets to flourish, as well as Shelly having this very, you know, secret or baggage that she's carrying. So there was a lot of things that I think we needed to sort of figure out and solve, and that yeah, we started like working and trying to figure out the dynamic of it. And I think for me at least, it was like so important that like we have so little time on screen to tell the story that like every second of it, Eric is so much in love. That was so important because it was like we did not have enough of time. It felt like so. It's just like the chemistry and the love and the the sort of magnetism towards these two is like pivotal.
I think with Eric and Shelly, a lot of it's in between the lines as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's actually where the bulk of the storytelling is, of how much they like each other. But it was easy because I felt like we were just always having like a good time on set together. And,
For sure.
And we both were able to be very vulnerable with each other from the beginning and just build a really amazing friendship. So that helped.
Yeah, yeah. It's we knew that the whole movie kind of makes or breaks on that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was obviously so excited to work with them because they're iconic, and they came to London and we were hanging out, and I actually took them to this, I guess it's like a art and design collective called Fantastic Twirls, and it's a group of young people that have been to fashion college, some haven't, from all around the world, and they make these amazing clothes all from hand, and it's this idea that they're all one-off, and it's been a real source of inspiration for me, specifically over the pandemic, to see the culture in London and to see young people creating things. So we all went and basically went shopping there for our characters. So actually some of your stuff came from that shopping trip that I did in London. I don't know if you know that. And some bits for me as well.
So you should be part credited for the design of Eric as well.
No. But it was just really incredible because I felt like I wanted to be able to infuse the film with what's happening now in youth culture and the movements artistically that are happening now. So actually even the opera dress that the singer wore was made by a friend of mine called Freya. So it's a lot of the costume actually came from my community in London, and that was really incredible because I think even with Shelly, she's someone who's clearly dialed in, you know, she's cool, she's going out, she knows the music, she's got friends, you know, she's clearly very much immersed in a scene, so it felt very real to me to bring what I do in London into the film. And you know, so you'd walk on set and I'd be like, I know who made that t-shirt, you know, in my head, like it felt very comfortable.
Yeah. Eric, it was, we wanted the look to kind of come organically throughout the movie. So it's not like a conscious clown face he puts on, you know, or just happens to appear like that, you know, and so it's gradual. And the turning of the inside of the coat that sort of, you know, we planted it in the scene with Eric and Shelly in the White Sheets apartment in the beginning of the movie, where they're just trying clothes on, and there's this kind of cool vintage trench coat there, and then that organic, when he reappears in that, comes back to that apartment, he finds the coat inside out and puts it on, and so it's these kind of organic pieces that he's throughout the movie, he's becoming the Crow organically. And the same thing with the makeup. Then it's sort of it just sort of it happens in the moment, sort of organically, and that kind of it also informs, I think, for me how I played Eric, because the way that our movie is structured is when he becomes a Crow, he's lost everything, and he knows he's lost everything. So he's kind of giving in to this hate inside of himself that he becomes this monster, and he doesn't like what he's becoming. So there's no sort of, his transformation to the Crow is not enjoyable for him. You know, it's not like, it's not a final hurrah or anything. It's just hate and vengeance. I thought that was important, that like, that he looks himself in the mirror when he's all dialed, like painted on and the coat on and everything, and he basically hates what he sees.
Me, I feel that Eric and Shelly just have an amazing romance together, and I felt like the time that we spent investing in the storytelling of that really has come through in the final cut of the movie. So I'm so happy, and I think if I had one sort of qualm with a lot of modern filmmaking is I find sometimes that I don't feel invested enough in the characters, especially in love stories. Like sometimes everything's so quick, there's like this feeling of urgency constantly, but even in this action-packed movie, we've managed to slow time down, you know, when we were together in our characters, and I think that's so rare, and it's something, we put work into it, but then it's sort of happened by accident as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just so it's so natural what's happened, and that was my biggest fear, that wouldn't come across, and it really has. And so I think for me, the film starts in one way and then it just has this dramatic turn. It's almost like the genre completely shifts. So it's incredible to see love like that on a big screen. But when I saw the second half of the movie, because obviously I wasn't there for a lot of the time when Bill became the Crow, the action is incredible, the scenes, you know, and I love, you know, I do martial arts, I've done stunt training and stuff, so for me to see and understand a little bit of how it works, the choreography is truly a work of art, and although, you know, it's quite scary, it's beautiful as well, though. It's so beautiful, like the, just the mathematical choreography of it all. I definitely think that people that into fight scenes and action and all of those things will really enjoy this film. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think in general, like, all movies are better in theater. And I think just, like, it's kind of a shame that we've gotten so accustomed to just watching everything streamed, or, you know, it's out in the theaters and then 2 weeks later you can watch it at home. You know, it's a big romantic epic, you know. Yeah, to Twigs's point, it's a pretty big, majestic, bloody, beautiful climax to it as well. But it's the journey, and it's a story about two outsiders, really.